See my derriere. Oh, I gotta get my stuff. I have to get my stuff. Guys, tonight I must start on time because I have a lot I have to go over. So come on in the room. Come on in the room. I have a lot I gotta go over tonight. I want to finish what I started last week with core values, struggling with core values, truth and dare of them. I left off on what core beliefs were. Well, how they're rigid and long-standing. So I just want to pick back up off of that. There's a couple of pages to read off of that. Then I want to also, because I skipped last month, don't know how to do that. Hey, boo. Hey, Miss Carla. Miss Debbie, I seen you, Miss Debbie. Yeah, I seen you, Miss Debbie. I'm all right. I had so much to do in April. I did not realize that I did not do a session on or just psychoeducation on sexual assault awareness.
You never know where your next unforgettable experience will pop up. That's why bringing along an American Express card opens the door to rewards wherever you go. Morning coffee run with an old friend?
I've never heard commercials on Alexa. What in the world?
Weekend earn miles. Dinner at the hottest restaurant in town? You get the idea. No matter the place or the plan, Amex rewards your inner explorer. Learn
YouTube, don't be recording that. This is strange. I've never heard.
Share a Coke is that?
Alexa, play Shirley Caesar off of my Pandora.
Shirley Caesar Radio from Kimble's Pandora.
I'm tripping. Yo, did y'all just hear her play some commercials? I'm gonna turn it down a little bit better. Alexa, who is? All right, guys. Let me try to knock this funk off. Let's get into our midweek review. And I thought I would never. You never supposed to say never, right? I thought we'd never have to use my brown one today. But listen, I keep it a bill, I keep it 100. I had one of these days today. I absolutely did. So I threw up that brown heart. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. First of all, you just playing commercial. Now you want to turn the volume up on your own. To myself, okay? I gotta listen to myself. Miss Deb, you got them gray hearts up there. Okay, that's nice. That's beautiful. But again, let's get back to me. This is how I was feeling today. Oh, it wasn't because of the rain. Listen, stuff started piling up on me. And I'm like, I just want to, God, hide me for 1 minute, just a minute. I don't know how much a minute is in God's time. I wanted to be hidden. Right? I wanted to be hidden. Phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing. I love to talk, guys. I do. But their phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. And then my hour lunch was like 10 minutes because I looked, it was 1:30 and I looked again, it was 2. I said, dang, what happened to the time? So I was having one of these days. I did. I want to talk about it. I'll give you 5 minutes of my digression. My air conditioner is broken. I'm spoiled, you guys. My AC unit is broken. And the guy said it's a leak in the system. He came here, it's a leak in the system. Now he can find a leak, but finding that leak takes a little bit of, mystery stuff. And so it will cost somewhere from $200 to $750 to find a leak. And once you find a leak, then you gotta put see if the parts are available, because now they're making stuff in the havoc industry a little bit more complicated and less complicated as we see it. I didn't want that answer to be the answer for the day. So he said, I can go with trying to find a leak, get it fixed, but it's going to cost me the same amount just to replace the AC unit. My unit is only 13 years old. They usually last from 15 to if you squeeze a little bit, to 20 years. I got 13 years on with it, and I don't like being hot. So we did have some scorching days back, and I was in here like, oh, help me, Jesus. So I'm trying to get above myself and get the air conditioner, the unit fixed. And just got a dryer like 3 months ago. So all my appliances is like, I'm not doing no work. So I have to decide. Save up or finance, because I can't live without AC, and I refuse to plug them other air conditioner in that's going to cost me a high electric bill. I'm spoiled. I like what I like. I want a new air conditioning unit, and I will be getting that. I just have to figure out where I'm going to be pulling funds from, because I'm going to finance it for probably just to get the unit in. Just try to. My grandma told me this. Rob Paul to pay Peter. I'll be doing that little shifting of some things. Yeah, I'm kind of good with money management, so I'll be doing that. I cannot be hot for this summer, and I believe we're going to have a hot one. So it was nothing really serious. Some other stuff, I don't even want to care about that. This stuff is out of my control, but that is in my control. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. So I'm going to try to get my AC unit in here before it gets too hot. So let's see how you guys was doing this evening. I see Miss Deb put up some grades. Miss Carla put up some grades. Let's go on. If you are doing great, throw up them red hearts for me. Throw up them red hearts if you're doing great. Now, people, this is blue. It's not purple. It looks purple, but this is actually a blue. Throw up a blue emoji heart if you're doing okay. If you're doing okay, throw that blue emoji heart up there. If things are tough and you're struggling, throw a green emoji heart up there. DM me if you feel comfortable. We can talk about it. If it's not something that's personal or private, you can talk about it in the comment section. But if you're feeling like you're tough, like things are tough and you're struggling, throw the green emoji hearts up there. If you're having a hard time and wouldn't mind if someone was to reach out to you, this is purple. Throw the purple hearts up there. I will reach out to you. I will direct you to the place that you're supposed to go, give you some support and some resources. This is our red broken emoji heart. If you're really in a dark place, throw the broken emoji hearts out there. Please, again, reach out to me. Put it in my DMs. I'll talk to you, no matter the time, the hour, or the day. It can be on Friday or Saturday. I'm still here. The pink emoji heart, if you're having some harmony and balance in your life, I wish I was here again. What happened to my new year, right? I was chilling. But if you're having some harmony and balance in your life, throw them pink hearts up there. It's just not. Mm, mm, mm. Throw those yellow hearts up there. Throw them little hearts up there. If you're having some mixed emotions, blankness, minimalism, throw them white hearts up there, the white emoji hearts up there. I know I'm going too quickly, but I want to get into my topic tonight. If you're feeling optimistic and uplifting, give me some orange emoji hearts. If you're feeling optimistic and uplifting, give me some orange emoji hearts. Mm, my two divas. My two divas. They are feeling cool and self restraint. I need to rub on somebody, rub on an elbow or something. They feeling cool and self restraint. Throw some great emoji hearts up there. This is the light blue. It's light blue. If you're feeling relaxed and friendly, if you're relaxed and friendly, throw those light blue emoji hearts up there. And as I was feeling today, I was trying to find something that said frustrated. I was talking to, she said, thank God you got stuff to be broken. Some people have nothing. It won't stay that way always. Amen, honey. Amen. Just give me my flowers. Amen, honey. Amen. Amen. That's why she's my bestie. That's why she's my bestie. Y'all see that? She just gave me some. She just gave me some. I was feeling this way today, but my bestie, she talked to me, gave me a talking to. If you were having this type of day, sometimes we have these type of days, and I will tell you this. This type of day, sometimes you just don't want to fix it. You don't want Jesus to fix it. You don't want to let him take it away. If you're in that phone, you're in that phone. But I thank my bestie. She's right. She's absolutely right. But if you were having one of these days, put the brown emoji heart up there. If you was having one of these days, put the brown emoji heart up there. And last but not least, the black emoji heart if you're angry or if you're sad. Let's work it out with me. I was not angry, nor was I sad today. I was just funky. Funky. All right, guys, these are great ways to talk about your feelings, how you're feeling with your kids, your tweenies, your young adults. Sometimes they don't express those things. You can put some hearts in your, in a how you doing today, and put some hearts there, and it can indicate that for you. I might use this with my grandson this weekend and see what he did. My grandson is such a sweet teenager. So he sees this. I know what he was that for. So I'm gonna use this with him and see what he did. It's not that easy, but I'm gonna find one that says frustrating. Because I wasn't really funky. And then when the phone rang like that 19th time, I was like, oh. That's when the phone came. The phone came. All right, guys. So last week we were talking about truth or dare, struggling with your core beliefs. Remember, we were saying core beliefs are deeply ingrained fundamental ideas that shape a person's understanding of themselves, others, and the world. They're formed often in early childhood. They're powerful and it can be significantly impact your mental health and your overall well-being. Now, these core beliefs is an unconscious. It operates it operates at a subconscious level in individuals, and it may not be fully. You may not be fully aware of the influences on your lives. Okay, so did I give example of core beliefs last week? I think I did. So I'm gonna do it again so we can just move forward. Example of core beliefs is I am not good enough. People are untrustworthy. The world is so dangerous. The world is a dangerous place. It's important to be kind and respectful to others. And we talked about last night, understanding your core beliefs is self-awareness. Recognizing your core beliefs can help an individual gain a better understanding of their own thoughts, feelings, and their behaviors. We talked about personal growth. We talked about mental health. And so today we're going to go up to the core beliefs that they tend to be rigid and long-standing. However, they can be changed. And what does that mean? She said orange can be orange for humble. Okay, Miss Carla. I had to humble myself. Y'all too. Y'all too. Y'all too today. I did have to humble myself. I did. I had to humble myself. I didn't eat crow though. It's easy for me to humble myself because I know where that can take me if I don't. I know where that can take me if I don't humble myself. So again, your core beliefs tend to be rigid and long-standing. However, or but, a lot of people like using that word but. However, they can be changed, learned, unlearned, learned, unlearned. And how could they be unlearned? They have this thing called CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. Core beliefs, dysfunctional assumptions, negative automatic thoughts is basically what that all wraps up into. Thoughts, feelings, behaviors. Thoughts, feeling, behaviors. So when you unlearn it, you have to catch the thought, you have to check the thought, and you have to change the thought. But before you do all of that, there has to be some self-awareness. And I would say self-awareness, but in a sense, acceptance and action, a call for change. So in CBT, thoughts influence feelings, feelings influence actions, actions influence our results or our life circumstances. Situations don't make us feel certain ways. People don't make us feel certain ways. It's how we interpret, think about the situation, things people say or do that influences how we feel. That's a whole lot, right? That's a whole lot. So again, when you're in therapy and your therapist is asking you about your childhood and how you grew up, and sometimes asking you about your mom and your dad and all those things, it starts from somewhere. Your problems, your symptoms, something had to happen. And I was talking to a young lady today on the phone. Her ex, she just found out she was pregnant. Her ex is not together. And they're going through this. Well, we're not together, so I don't want this child. And she's like, I'm going to have the child. And he's like, I don't, want this child. And he was calling her all day. I don't know if he was thinking she was going to trap him into having the child. And she's very young. She's 22. She's 22. They've known each other for 4 years, so they they went to high school or something together. She's not even from Philadelphia. She's from New York. Anyway, I was asking her, well, how does he treat his mother? Because they have a lot of issues, and he talks to his mother out of tone too. And I said, well, what about his dad? She said his dad wasn't there, but he had his stepdad. I said sometimes that don't even matter. You can have a person that steps in as a parental figure, as a guardian, as a father, as a mother, as a foster parent, and love you unconditionally. But if your parent, that biological parent that you had the umbilical cord with, you didn't get any nurturing from that person, any love from that person, any validation from that person, that's that core belief. I'm not good enough. I'm unlovable. I'm unworthy. Nobody wants me. They threw me away. That's that core belief. And as a child, you feel that way. So you may act out. Remember, thoughts influences feelings. Feelings influence actions. You're going to act out. You're going to act out in school. You're going to act out at home. If you have siblings, you might, act out with the siblings. You might act out in the neighborhood. And your actions influence are results of life circumstances. So you acting out all the time. They're like, yo, we can't hang with Ricky. Ricky has a bad temper, or Josephine, fights all the time. She has she doesn't have many friends. That's your life circumstances. You're always angry. You're acting out. Why? Because mom, you felt that mom didn't love you. And so growing up, you'll have relationships with people, but you're not going to feel close to people because loyalty doesn't stand because, again, something happened in childhood, right? So is the event, the thoughts, feeling, actions, and then is a result. Can you see it? Can you see it? I'm going to try to take a picture of this and put it in the chat. Again, thoughts influence feelings, feelings influence actions, and actions influence our results or our life situations. Today, my hope was it was going to be a part I needed to be ordered for the air conditioning. That was my hope. That was my hope. But when he said, my feelings changed very quickly. And I was upset. And, the guy scammed me. He said from last year. It was just a lot going through my mind. So the results of my life situation and circumstances right now is I can't regulate my body temperature. In the winter, I can't warm up quick enough. In the summer, I can't cool down quick enough. So I suffer wintertime and summertime. If it's too cold in the summertime, I can go into a freezing state. I can get frostbite really quickly. So I have to make sure I'm dressed properly in the wintertime, and I do. Same thing in the summertime. I can't regulate my body temperature. So I sweat profusely. I don't stink, y'all. Okay, don't look at me like that. But I'll sweat profusely to try to cool. When you're sweating, you're trying to cool yourself down. Your body's trying to cool down. My body doesn't do that, and when it happens, I'll pass out. I haven't done it in, I guess, since 2018, since my second divorce. I had it under control because we got the AC unit. I got a car with AC in it. My life situations, I know how to adapt to these things. I've coped with them. So again, situations don't make us feel certain ways. People don't make us feel certain ways. It's how we interpret, think about situations, things people say or do that influence how we feel. And this is interacting with someone. It doesn't have to be a family member. If your family did you dirty back in the past and back in your day, you disconnected yourself from them, okay. And you've been coping in life fine, okay. But you don't trust anybody. You don't have any real tight support. You don't go to the jobs picnic or the church's cookout or anything like that. You know people, but you're not connected to people. You say, I don't have any friends. I know people at work that I talk to every now and then. I don't hang out with them. I know people at church. We talk out when we go to the men's meeting or the women's meeting. When there's a revival, when we got to go to another church, but you don't have a connection to those people. So how do we kind of, I'm going to hold that off. And what happens when things like that happen? So things, when you feel, and let me know if I'm losing you at any point in time. When you feel you're not good enough, when you feel people are untrustworthy, that the world is a dangerous place, that you're unlovable, unworthy, you can't get anything right. Some people may just have a complex about their size, their skin color. And this happens with kids in school. You were a chubby kid, in school, and Even though you slendered out as an adult because you grew taller, you slendered out. In your mind, you're still this chubby kid, and you don't like people. The only thing you do is you emotionally eat, and so that leads to depression and anxiety. Those are the two top mental health disorders that's linked to cognitive CBT, or the core beliefs: anxiety and depression. You're worrying a lot, social anxiety, you don't connect with people. Depression, your mood is low, you isolate yourself, you feel really bad and low. And so with depression and anxiety, you try to self-sabotage, create obstacles to achieving your goals or even having relationships. It's like a protective mechanism created by your psyche in order to keep you safe from any potential danger or harm. So if you guys are hanging out after work and you're having a good time, and then they're like, let's go to this other place. No, I ain't going to with y'all. Y'all not really my friends. And they're looking like, wow, we just got to know you. Like, this was cool being with you. We really like you. You're cool at work. And you're self-sabotaging. You can be with your friends, your family, your spouse. If you're in such a relationship, you don't know how to communicate or accept corrective criticism. You're self-sabotaging yourself by not listening or not receiving information from somebody that loves you. Signs of self-sabotaging is procrastination. I got that. Oh God, I got it. I got it now. I don't know why. I'm just like, it can wait, God. I got so much to do. It can wait, God. It can wait, God. Let me prepare this first. Let me do this first. So I'm at that self-sabotaging season right now. I'm procrastinating a lot, and I really don't like doing that. I'm a person that's on time all the time. So signs of self-sabotaging is procrastination, avoiding responsibilities, breaking promises or not following through on commitments, lack of preparation or preparing for things, showing up late to important events, substance use, giving up when things get more difficult, fear of success, fear of what people think, avoiding emotional pain, the risk of dealing with discomfort, Okay, so, and this is just not for cognitive behavior therapy. It says again, your thoughts, your feelings, and behaviors. You want to catch the thought. You want to check your feeling. Is this really how I feel, or is this something that I'm remembering from my past, from a past situation, a past feeling, and changing it, changing the behavior, changing the thought. Your feelings will come. It'll come once the thought and the behavior change. Your feelings that'll come. And I say this is for any. Okay, come on. This is for anything that has to do with awareness. So when you're aware of something and you accept something, you're saying, I'm taking responsibility for this thing right here. I'm aware that I'm flawed in this area. I accept that I have shortcomings in this area. And I tell people, every single person that I come in contact with, I talk to, I email, I text. When they ask me about therapy, I say, listen, therapy is work. Sometimes people come to me with therapy like, yeah, because, my parents did this and they did that. And, at work they did this, or it's couple therapies. My spouse, they don't listen. I'm good at money and they're not. And I'm listening. And I say, are you coming to therapy for them, or are you coming to therapy for you? Because if you're coming to therapy for them, it's not going to work. When you're coming to therapy, you have to want to work on yourself. on yourself, even in couples therapy. There's two people in the therapy, the office, you and your spouse, or you and your significant other. You can go in there all you want and keep pointing the finger at your spouse. You're not getting help. Still even in a relationship, you're not getting help. So, awareness, acceptance, and action is a call for change and perspective, and a change in attitude, and a change in behavior. The first step in recovery requires honest objectivity. Honest objectivity. And when I looked objectivity up, it means representing real, objective truth, despite opinion, and it's not influenced by your personal feelings. It's just straight facts. So when you're going in for therapy, you are going for straight truth, despite the opinions of how you feel. You're going in to work on you. You're going on in and say, listen, I have some issues that may have came up when I was a child. They may have came up when I was in middle school, high school, when I went to college, when I got my own apartment, when I started doing things on my own, when I got my first job, when I got my car, when I was in my first relationship. And I know something's wrong. And I was doing a training the other day with Dr. Oh my goodness, I can't remember this lady's name, but she was so phenomenal. Oh my goodness. But she was saying how you change the narrative is stop asking the person what's wrong. What's wrong? Ask them what happened. Ask them what happened. What happened in your life? What happened to you? Not what's wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not broken. You can't fix me. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I got 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, mouth. I eat, I walk, I talk, I go to the bathroom fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Something happened to me in order for me to think this way, to react this way, to feel this way. And I thought that was so phenomenal. So awareness, acceptance, and action, a call for change and perspective, a change in attitude, and a change in behavior. The first step in doing that on recovery requires honest objectivity. And honest objectivity about our lives, and the awareness of how powerlessness we had in whatever that was in the past. Childhood, youth, adolescence, 20 to 25, all those things that you have that you felt powerlessness over. You were supposed to be getting taken care of as a child, nurtured, cared for, guided, getting taught some ethicals and morals and things about life. And the same thing as a youth and a young adult. Parenting just doesn't stop when you turn 18. Some of the silent generation, which is my grandmother's generation. My grandma passed away. She was 86 when she passed away, but she was a silent generation. Then in my mom's generation, the 60s, generation, they were taught a little bit differently. Right? And so my mom's generation, once you turned 18, you were grown. You were young. And some people still think that way. Once they're 18, and some people tell their kids that, oh, you grown when you're 18, you can get out of here. They're not grown. They legally grown, and they only grown at 18. You guys don't know that, so they can vote. So they can vote. They can vote. A lot of voting was not done back in those times. And so they made the legal age 18 so you can vote, not for you to be grown. But that's the law. 18, you're grown. But even though they're 18 and the law says they're grown, parenting doesn't stop. Comedian that I was watching last night, Al Sadiq. I think I don't know why I'm not getting the names, but he's a comedian. He went to jail He used to be a street pharmacist. He did his time. He came out. He's a wonderful comedian. He said, and I believe in this thing as well. I would never put my kids out in the street. I wouldn't kick them out. No matter how many times they fell on their face and came back, I wouldn't kick them out. All parents don't think that way. Once you get a certain age, you can never come back in my house. Some parents think that way. I had that option. I think I had that option. We had that option as kids when we went out on our own. I moved out. I don't think I went back until I moved out at 16 and get back until I was 21. But my grandma was like, you gotta pay rent. You can't live nowhere for free. And glad she taught me that, because I've never been back on a bill. I've never been afraid that someone was going to come and take my possessions away, take my car away, turn my gas off. I was nothing, like I don't have any food in my house because of my grandma saying, you have to pay a bill. You can't live nowhere for free. She said, Deb said, we the only people who put our kids out. That ain't true. that ain't true. That ain't true. We ain't the only ones. We just the ones that talk about it. Hallelujah. We just the ones that talk about it. That's in our culture, Deb. Ooh, that's over. Ooh, hey. Hey. Again, it's a learned behavior. I know a lot of people will say, oh my God, Kimble, you're going back too far. It's not. Slavery taught us not to have connections with our children or our husbands or our wives. You'll have a baby. You'll nurse that baby for a little bit. As soon as that baby get up, a little bit older, and that baby know how to work, they snatch that baby away from you. Same thing for the husband and wife. If they allowed you to get married, if they knew you were married, he in the field, you somewhere else. Master coming and he wants you. He don't want your husband. He wants you. And your husband got to stand there knowing what master is doing. And so to keep our kids safe, to keep our wife safe, we had to disconnect. We had to disconnect. It's in our DNA. It's in history. And for only the people of color, we have a disconnect with a lot of that. That stuff is generational. It's trauma. It's there. Even if I can say, I don't have any descendants in Africa. I don't know any descendants in Africa. I came from my mother. My mother came from her mother. Her mother came from her mother. That's the only way I can trace my lineage back to maybe 4 or 5 generations. Yeah, because my grandson is the 5th generation. But my grandma didn't put us out. We all left on our own. I'm tired of paying you all this money, and I'm in a 1-bedroom. And we had to follow her rules. Nobody can come over and stay the night. Ain't no smoking and drinking in her house. Ain't no sexing in her house. Ain't no fornicating in her house. And I'm paying you rent. We had to pay her, abide by her rules. And that's the only way we left. I can't have my man come over here, grandma. We can't sit and play and just chill. She's like, not in here. And as I got older and my kids got older, guess what? Them same rules came with me. Them same rules came with me. They did. So, in order to work on your core beliefs, sometimes you have to reframe it. Shift your narrative. Observe the patterns. See the thoughts that you're having. Kind of write down or recognize that I have that argument all the time. Or I flip out all the time over this certain situation. So observe the patterns. It's said that the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So if your daddy was a Rolling Stone, as they would say back in the day, This even applies to the girls. Your daddy was a Rolling Stone, and you've seen him cheating on your mom every now and then. What you think gonna happen to you as a man? You gonna say I ain't gonna do women like my dad did my mama, but it's a learned behavior. It's the same thing with domestic violence. You may see your father or your mom's boyfriend hitting on your mom. You know it ain't right. You're angry. You're young. You can't really defend her. And you're gonna say, "I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna put my hands on a woman." Or this is the case. Mom's husband, mom's boyfriend is beating on her, having fights with her, getting told, called all these nasty names, and the daughter is seeing this. And the daughter say, "I'm not going to get in a relationship with a man like that ever in my life." You guys know what happens. It happens sometimes. The daughter gets into a relationship like that with a man, and the son will turn into an abuser. It's a learned behavior. But remember, we said something that's learned can be unlearned, right? Why have I ended up here again? Is what you can ask yourself. Again, not what's wrong, but what happened to me. What happened? Creating alternative actions. There's often uncomfortable emotions you rather not feel, like fear, failure, commitment, success, inadequacy, and abandonment. Who wants to feel that? Who wants to feel like they're a failure, like they lack commitment, like they're inadequate, like they're abandoned, they're unsuccessful? No one wants to feel that way. In our minds, all of those things are worthless. We're a society that we have to make sure we are always, especially in the United States of America, we are always on top. You're always on top. You're a perfect example. My grandson, you're like, Nina, you telling my business, but he's so smart. He made Dean's List. They have what, 5 more weeks now in school? Yeah, because one of the teachers said 5 more weeks. They have 5 more weeks of school. And he was getting fidgety, anxious, and he had a panic attack, kind of like, and my daughter was like, "Mom, he might come home." My grandson goes to boarding school. He might come home early in the week. So tell me when you're gonna be home, or something like that. And I'm like, okay, what happened? She never got back to me. So he did not come home. He finished his week out at school, and he came home. I think it was Sunday, because he was with his dad this weekend. And I asked him. First of all, I wanted to ask him. I said, "Hey, have you been getting bullied in school?" And he kind of gave me that look like, "Nina." He said, "No, I ain't been getting bullied." I said, "Well, what happened? You did you have a bad day in school? What went on?" He said, "I want to be on an honor roll." I'm like, "Well, baby, you made the dean's list." And he was like, "I know, but I still want to be on honor." I said, "Baby, what's your grades like? Which grades it like?" He said, "I got some A's and B's, a couple of C's." I said, "Okay, well, you can coast through. Don't not finish your work. Don't not put your best in the rest of your school year, but just coast through it. Knowing that you have the A's and the B's and some C's maybe can be satisfactory to you. If you want to, leap a little bit more and finish off doing your work, you're fine. But why do you have to push yourself? It's at the end of the school year. He's about to go into high school. And I don't know if I can say, and I probably can say that's in our DNA, to be overachievers, to be perfectionists. My grandma put that, installed that in us. If I worked at the zoo and I was the elephant's zookeeper, and the elephant's thing, she would say, if you had the shovel, my grandma ain't never cuss. If you had the shovel, you better be the best ever. Ever. Anything that my grandma said we would do, you better be the best at it. The best at it. You put your 150 into giving with everything. And so we in this society, we always have to be up on things. So how do you do that? First of all, in yourself, love yourself and give yourself positive affirmations. So I told him, I said, tell yourself you're doing a good job. You've been doing great this whole entire year. You're about to go to high school. He's playing football and he's running track. He was supposed to run in the pin relays, but they got there a little bit too late, which is I'm so proud of him doing because he was a child that never wanted to, he didn't like sports. Now he likes football and he likes track. He likes lifting weights and exercising. So I'm like, listen, when you get into high school, you're gonna have to learn how to do time management. Do your homework, make sure you're going on, versatile with football and being versatile with track. I told him, I said, look up Deion Sanders. Don't look up Michael Jordan. Not hating on Michael, guys. But look up Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders was the be-it-all with baseball and football. They wanted Deion to stop playing football because he was good at baseball. When they signed him for baseball, they was like, Deion, your football career over. Deion said, oh, no, I'm not. When baseball season is baseball season, I'm going to play baseball. That's all I'm going to do. But when football season come around, I'm going to play football. It's like, what if you get hurt? If I get hurt, it's on me. But he was a great athletic person. He still has that mindset now. So I was telling my grandson to look up Deion. So giving yourself positive affirmations, basing yourself on positive role models. Maybe talking to your spouse about some things. It works. Talking to your spouse about some difficult feelings that you're having. Planning manageable goals and activities for yourself. Don't plan a goal that's set too high. Break that thing down. Remember, I talked about goal mapping. We all know what our daily goals is in the morning. You got to get up, wash up, brush those teeth, get a meal in, get going to work. That's our goal for the day. Get going. We got to work every day or whenever we're supposed to be at scheduled at work because we have to work to eat. We have to work to maintain our home and our household and things like that. Even our natural, whatever we have to do for ourselves. We have to work. We're not we're not entitled, right? We have to work. Even those people that are entitled, they had to work until they got where they are right now. So we have to work. We already know that's our goal. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to work even harder. Sometimes you don't have a time on and a time off. I say that because when I'm doing my juicing thing, I'm working almost 2:00 in the morning. Like my husband, like, when you going to bed? So you have your everyday goals. You already know what your everyday goals are. You have your everyday goals. I say break it down to a weekly goal, a monthly goal, a 3-month goal, a 6-month goal, and that large goal, a year. So if you're planning on getting a car, make that a large goal. Because first of all, you have to save up for the car. I know you're probably on the bus. Or I know your car is probably already, it's about to kapunk. But there's sacrifices. You have to save up for the car. Right? You don't have a lot of money. And if you do have a lot of money, when you go to the car dealership, they're going to still want something besides your good credit. Especially in 2025. You can have A1 credit. I still want some money. You got something in my hand for this car. So that's a yearly goal. If you want to make it a 6-month goal, because you probably already been saving something up, that's fine. But something big and large like that, make that a yearly goal. A vacation, that can be a 6-month goal. You should have started that in October. You want to save the money up since starting in October for your vacation starting when? It can probably happen in June or July of the summertime. Socializing, trying to get out, especially if you have those thoughts that the world is such an evil and bad place because someone treated you that way in your life. Everybody's not the same. I remember, what movie was that I seen? Was it Birds of a Prey? I think it was Birds of a Prey. The one of the superheroes, all he seen was his mom on everybody's face because his mom was a pain in the hoot nanny. And so that's all he seen when he looked at everybody was his mother. Right? That's not how life is. Go out and socialize, meet people. People are so versatile and different. A pattern of yours for a long time. So if there was a thought in your mind that all men are the same, all men are the same. They just want one thing, but you keep dating. You keep dating because you're gonna think all of them are not. But every single person that you're dating is the same. Go back to the beginning and say what happened. You're gonna need help with that. You're gonna have to get that thing dissected. Again, my little paper ad. Awareness, accepting, because it's not the men. And I tell people it's not the spouse. Try to take responsibility of what you're doing in a relationship. Can't point the finger always at the other person. It's a relationship. You're all dancing together. Somebody stop dancing or somebody stop following the other one's footsteps. So identify your issues. What's going on with you? What you probably need to work on. Make small changes. Take it slow. And recognize it's going to take time. Change does not happen overnight, and especially with us. When I say with us, humans. It doesn't happen overnight. Change takes time. You have to keep working on it over and over and over and over again. It takes time. Engage in positive self-talk. I can do this. I'm able. I'm capable. My life has purpose. My life has meaning. I am in control of my own destiny. Make notes of unhelpful thoughts and replace those thoughts that's more aligned with how you want to feel. And I think that's when I talked about last week and my now I was supposed to have this. Somebody was touching my stuff. But it's in my somebody did something. It's in my healing journal. Oh, here it is. I didn't mark it. So on page 99, it has two slots: helpful and unhelpful. So when the emotional pain of recalling trauma or stressful memories are still profound, you never know when God's going to turn your page. Think about how you have been coping with what has helped and what hasn't helped, and let's categorize them things. So again, that behavior that was learned that's not good, that's unhelpful. And what's the behavior that you want to learn that's positive, something that you can cope with, that's helpful? Reaching out to somebody, like again, talking to somebody about how you're feeling, giving yourself positive affirmations, trying to manage your goals and activities properly, time management. Those things are helpful. Shifting your internal narrative and your external reality can start to reflect that change. That's something powerful, guys. Shifting your internal narrative, that deep down core belief, and your external reality can start to reflect that change. Hey, Pastor Rice, how you doing? How you doing? Always reach out for support. But the ultimate positive core beliefs: I am capable and resourceful. I said that. Challenges make me stronger. I love that one. I love that one. Challenges make me stronger. Life is meant to be enjoyed. I have a choice in how I respond to life. My life has purpose and meaning. This one's I like too. Mistakes and failures are opportunities to learn. Mistakes and failures are opportunities to learn. Don't be so hard on yourself. I try to tell myself that when I'm, doing stuff as a perfectionist. I'm always, well, I'm not late no more. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. My sister, my sister, they're gonna give you a letter. I'm like, a letter. I work for the city. I'm supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock. We have a grace period of six minutes. So if you late after 8:06, you late. I switched over to morning 8 o'clock to 4:30. I believe at the first of the year, and the first 2 maybe and a half months, I was always late. I always got there like 8:30, 8:45. And my husband thought my shift was 8:30 to 4:30. And I'm like, no, I gotta be to work at 8 o'clock. He's like, you've been late every day. I have. I was late every day. In my mind, I will pick out my clothes at night. I see the outfit, I see the shoes. I get up at 5:20, get myself together, brush my teeth, put my workout clothes on, and go work out. I'm on the treadmill. Got a whole routine down. Gotta come up here before I leave, pray, get to my car. I'm supposed to be at my car by 7:10. I get my car at 7:23. I was. I was getting in my car at 7:23 every day. I had to make a choice and challenge myself like, Kimble, you don't want to receive a letter. I've never been late before. Miss Mitchell said if you're 15 minutes early, you're late. All my clocks are early, 15 minutes early. So how am I late? Deb, don't you laugh at me. How am I late? How am I late? And I have great time management skills. But why was I being late? It wasn't traffic. It was just me procrastinating. Oh, this not there. That's not there. Let me do this. Let me do that. This outfit don't look good. Let me do this. Let me do that. I transitioned from wearing pants to just all dresses or skirts. And for me, that's difficult because I still got a little of that tomboy in me. You know what I mean? I've been a tomboy all my life, but I digress. So you are in control of your destiny. You're capable. Knowing that you're those core beliefs, those things that you were taught, those things that you heard as a child can be unlearned. And again, therapy is the key. It's the key. However, when you go into therapy, it's going to take work. Lots of work. Lots of work on yourself. You're there for you. You're not there for what mom did in the past. You can talk about those things, absolutely. What your brother did in the past, who left you, who mistreated you. You can talk about those things, but you are there for you. You have to break away from those feelings and those thoughts and, come into the present and say, okay, that happened. I know why I'm the way I am then, and let's make a new person. Because when you come to Christ, you're a new creature. Same thing with therapy. Once you start therapy, you'll think different. You'll feel different. Some of that old stuff will fall off you, like the skin when you're in the shower with the exfoliating thing. It's going to start to shed. You're going to start to feel it. Now let me get into. Ooh, Lord. I'm going to get into it anyway. Hey. Now, last month was Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I'm big on doing something for sexual assault awareness. I did have my button up there that said I support sexual assault and awareness. And I'm trying to figure out why I didn't do anything. I was getting ready for the faith and spiritual conference that my job holds every year because I was a speaker this year and I wanted to make sure everything was okay. I was representing my company, my nonprofit. I had to get all that stuff together. No excuse. Again, I was procrastinating. So I did put something together. Let me just spit this information out to you guys really, really quickly. April is officially designated as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the United States. And April is the time for raising awareness, educating communities, and taking action to prevent sexual violence. Sexual assault happens when someone either touches another person in a sexual manner without consent or makes another person touch them in a sexual manner without consent. It includes unwanted kissing and touching of someone's genital, breast, or bottom. You guys know I'm always forward with my talking when it comes to things like this. I was a product of sexual assault, actually, a product of incest when I was younger, and I did write a book on it. When horrible things happen, revealing the secrets of Baker Curse. And in my book, it talks about some of the language of some of the language of inappropriate touching, consent, generational curses, sexual trauma, all those things in this book. So if you have small children and you don't think they're ready for this, they should be ready for this. I'm not going to say turn your baby's ears away. And that's the smallest 4. Smallest 4. These kids are smart. If you're 4-year-old is playing with a tablet, a phone, they doing a fan dance, they can listen to this. This is very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. Okay. What is sexual misbehavior? Sexual misconduct is any sexual act or behavior that a person does not consent to. It can take many forms, including sexual assault, rape, unwanted oral sex, and kissing or touching a person's body in a sexual manner without their consent. Sexual violence is a violation of a boundary or an unwanted behavior ranging from gestures of verbal harassment to rape. People who commit sexual violence often test individuals they may offend against by making them uncomfortable and watching how they behave. They may intrude their physical space to find out if that individual will defend their physical boundaries or not. This is known as challenging their boundaries. Respecting even the smallest of boundaries is a step towards preventing sexual violence. And this is not a thing for just that men do. Women do it too. Okay? Women do it too. Mm-hmm. In Pennsylvania, because this is where I live. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, consent in the context of sexual activity is defined as a knowing, voluntary, and affirmative agreement to engage in specific sexual activity communicated through clear words or action. This means consent must be informed. The individual must understand the nature of the activity. The individual must be aware of what they are agreeing to. Voluntary, the individual must be free from coercion, manipulation, or duress. Affirmative, consent must be actively expressed through words or actions and not simply silence or lack of resistance. Ongoing, consent is not a one-time event. It must be present and active for each instance of each sexual activity. Withdrawal, consent can be withdrawn at any time. Meaning if you and your partner are engaging in intimacy, kissing, foreplay, or even full-fledged on, doing what you're doing, and that person say, wait a minute, I'm not ready, I don't want to anymore, I changed my mind, you better get up, male or female. And this gets serious because we have so many people in the news right now. We got P. Diddy right now. His case is going on. R. Kelly had a case going on. My man Smokey right now, 4 women or has some allegations against Smokey. And it's always told and believed that you have to believe the victim. But it takes so much for the victim to be believed. How they get the questions get asked, strange questions. Well, how were you dressed? You sure you didn't make a, didn't turn them on? You sure you didn't make a sudden move? So even though they say believe the victim gets interrogated sometimes, and it doesn't feel good. Key points about consent in Pennsylvania. No implied consent, which is previous sexual relationships or dating history, do not imply consent. So if we was dating in the past and we got together, whatever, hey, you got to ask again. You got to ask again. Every time you have to ask. Every single time you have to ask. I will give you the story with my nephew. He's about to be 9, 8. He stole my buttons. I call him buttons because he's cuter than the buttons. He stole my buttons. But when he was smaller, I would always take him from his mom and give him kisses and hug him real tight. And as he got older, when he started walking and everything, when he would come over, he would hide behind his mom. I'm like, come here, Buttons, what's going on? He's like, I'm like, what's the matter? And he said to me, my mom said to never let nobody kiss me in my mouth. I said, okay, well, I'm not giving you kisses in your mouth. I'm just giving you some love. You know how you pull their shirt up and you go to their belly? He said, I don't like that, Aunt Kimble. I don't like that. So every time I see him now, I say, Buttons, how are you? He say, I'm fine, Aunt Kimble. You know the next question. Can I have a hug? Am I able to give you a kiss? Your 4-year-old niece, nephew, daughter, son has to give consent. Have to give consent. They don't have to give Aunt Barbara a kiss if they don't want to. They don't have to be held by Aunt Barbara if they don't want to. They don't have to sit on Uncle Stanley's lap if they don't want to, or be with Uncle Stanley. They don't. Teach your kids now. At 4, they own their bodies. At 4, they own their bodies. If you guys don't recall, again, I'm from Philadelphia. And I don't mean to be direct because I'm just so passionate about this. There was a gentleman on the news who raped a baby, an infant baby. He raped her. A baby. A baby. An innocent baby. What predators would do, they would do. Tell your children they have consent over their bodies. Let them know that as young as 4. In the book, it talks about appropriate and inappropriate touching. Age of consent. Again, I'm from Pennsylvania. So in Pennsylvania, the age of consent is 16. However, there are exceptions to the rule, such as when a power imbalance exists. For example, in a school or institutional setting. So I'm 16. I think it's 3 years. I think it's 3 years, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think it's 4 years. I think it's 4 years. I'll go back and I'll put this in the chat if I'm incorrect. Matter of fact, I got a link that you can look it up from P-Star. So now you won't go there. Consent cannot be given by someone who is incapacitated due to alcohol, drugs, or sleep or unconsciousness, or if they are mentally or physically unable to understand the situation. Silence is not consent. Silence or lack of active resistance does not imply consent. It's not enough for you to tell your child you're not supposed to have sex. And all this stuff out here on TV, on the internet, on their tablets. They ride on a school bus and kids is looking at stuff on the school bus. You see people doing a twerking and dancing and all this other stuff. Kids are curious. They're more curious than we was back in the day when your mom used to put your hand over here. Don't you look at it. Don't you look at it. Don't you look at that. Or turn the TV off. And in fact, we couldn't even watch stuff like that. I still don't watch Saturday Night Live. We couldn't watch that stuff. I still don't watch the Late 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 Show. We couldn't watch those things. Not in my grandma's house. And I'm grown. Don't watch it. No interest in it. People ages 16 and older can legally consent to sexual activity with anyone they choose, as long as the other person does not have authority over them and defined in Pennsylvania's institutional sexual assault statute. In Pennsylvania, the statute of limitations for filing criminal charges for sexual assault varies depending on the victim's age and the severity of the offense. For adult survivors, the limitations are typically 2 years for misdemeanors and 12 years for felonies. But certain sexual offenses against individuals 23 years of age or younger have a statute of limitations until the victim turns 24 or 20 years after the offense, whichever is later, according to the Pennsylvania General Assembly. That's great and wonderful, because when I went through what I went through, the statute of limitation was 6 years. It was 6 years. And even with this going, the DA has to pick your case up. You can file charges, you can have a police report and all these other things, and the DA has to pick that case up. It has to pick the case up. The district attorney have to pick the case up. Sometimes, as you've seen with Bill Cosby, they went through. Did they go through a civil court, and they start taking Bill Cosby's stuff away from him, his honorary degrees and things of that nature? Then Bill's stuff got overturned. So it's kind of state by state. Bill, I think his trial was in Montgomery County, so it's different than Philadelphia County. Crimes with no statute of limitations in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Murder has no time limit. Voluntary manslaughter has no time limit. Conspiracy to murder has no time limit. Soliciting to commit murder and murder results has no time limit. A felony connected with a first or second degree murder has no time limit. Vehicular homicide involving a hit and run, recklessness, or gross negligence has no time limit. Rape or assault of a minor, no limit, no time limit. Child sexual abuse has no time limit. Those two, right? But what about for an adult? Rape, sexual assault for an adult. It's like murder. It's like murder. And that's why women fight for it. And some people are like, well, why they wait so long? Hence, in the case with this guy, Smokey Robinson, they waited so long. And now they're coming out because they're afraid that they're going to get deported. Again, it's the unwritten rule that you must believe the survivor. But then the survivor has to go through so much to prove that this actually happened to them. Now, Pennsylvania Coalition of Advanced Respect, which is called PSAR, is to work to eliminate all forms of sexual violence and to advocate for the rights and needs of victims of sexual assault. I will put that link, the web link, in the chat. And they also have legal assistance, which I think is wonderful. They help with legal assistance. They help with any questions you have about legal assistance. Even if you have to go to court about a sexual case, they will show up. They will, you just let them know that you need them for support, and they'll be there. They'll show up with you. The Philadelphia Center Against Sexual Violence, which is officially known as WAR, they have a hotline that you can call 24 hours. I will put that number in the chat, but the number is 215-985-3333. The National Sexual Assault Hotline, I'm going to put, and that's RAIN. I'm going to put their link in the chat as well, but their number is 800-656-HOPE, 800-656-HOPE. To help prevent sexual violence by promoting healthy relationships and modeling healthy boundaries. Some things that you can do: listen to the person without judging or interrupting them. Tell them it wasn't their fault. No one has the right to be abused. Tell them you believe them. Ask how you can be helpful. Refer them to a local rape crisis center for counseling and services. Again, I'm going to put those links in the chat. I'm going to put the links to some CBT information in the chat. I have like some think bubbles that can help you out when you're having those thoughts. So, because remember, the core beliefs come to you so quickly, you don't even know they're coming. I'm going to put them in the chat. I am going to try to have a guest next Wednesday. I went to a women's conference on last Saturday, and it was so awesome. Every person that spoke, every woman that spoke was awesome. My husband was there with me, of course, because he helped me with my vending there, and he was like, "Which one did you like the best?" And of course, he told me who he liked the best, and we both really, this person resonated to us. She's such a beautiful, beautiful woman. So I'm going to try to have her on next Wednesday to connect with her. So cross your fingers so I can have this guest on. If there's any topics that you have that you want to discuss or that you want me to try to look up and research for you, let me know, and I will do that. I think I have anything coming up. I don't. I have a talk thing, but that's for tomorrow. Okay, guys. I did go over my time, but that's okay because that was really important to me. If you want to get either of these books, When Horrible Things Happen, Revealing the Secret to Break a Curse, or the Healing Journal, both written by me, I will put the link in the chat. I am still working on book number 3. God got to rescue me and stop me from the blockage in my mind. That book is really difficult for me to do. I'm not even going to say that it's not. It's too hot. It's too hot of a subject. But I'm going to try to stick to that, writing that book. Hopefully by the fall, that book will be going to my publisher. You guys be safe. My name is Kimble Evans. You were just at the Trap Lounge, and I am your trap therapist. Have a good night. Yesterday.